Hi, welcome to Fostering Resilience. I'm Dr. KJ Foster. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 exercises that you can utilize to practice non-judgment. And I can tell you that for me and my healing process, my healing journey, this practice of non-judgment has been huge, especially as I've learned more about the laws of the universe and the fact that when we put judgment out there, when we're in judgment of others, we are only attracting more of that towards ourselves. And when we're able to be in a place of compassion and loving kindness, and we're putting that out into the world, that out into the universe, then we're going to get more of that back. Gratitude, compassion, loving kindness. But it's difficult. It's difficult, especially when maybe we've been raised to judge others, especially based upon certain circumstances. It gets to be a pattern of behavior. And this can cause all kinds of consequences, anything from difficulty with interpersonal relationships to creating illness within our bodies. I believe very much in behavioral kinesiology and that the fact that our thoughts and our feelings and our attitudes and our actions can create illness within the body, such as judgment and anger and resentment. But when we're able to be in this place of love, gratitude, compassion, that actually gives our bodies strength. And so 10 ways in which you can start to practice non-judgment. Let's get started. Number one is to practice non-judgment while you're watching the news or reading the news, which means that you're going to take the position of non-judgment. You're going to take in the information, as data, and reminding yourself that the individuals involved in whatever the story is that you're reading about or watching are making decisions based upon their life experience and the knowledge and the awareness that they have in that moment. So practicing this non-judgmental perspective of taking in that information. Number two is for you if you are someone who struggles with road rage or getting very upset with other drivers. I'm someone that doesn't really have a tendency to get upset with other drivers. I think that's because I've been that driver myself who has cut the person off or done something to irritate another driver. So I have a bit more compassion, and I also recognize that I don't know what is going on in that person's world. Like, I don't know if they've just received some tragic news that their family member's in the hospital or whatever the case may be. So I remind myself of that. I also don't know if perhaps that person is potentially dangerous, and I certainly don't want to get into an argument with someone and put myself in a dangerous position. So practicing while you're driving, taking a non-judgmental perspective. And when things happen, like somebody cuts you off or you observe someone driving dangerously, once again reminding yourself that you don't know what's going on in that person's world and that they are making decisions based upon whatever it is that is happening in that present moment based upon their own knowledge and skills. Number three, when you observe someone wearing an outfit or being dressed in a way that you don't like or you disagree with, if you happen to be someone that criticizes other people's appearance. I remember there was one time where I was at a nail salon and I was wearing a new pair of shoes, and on the bottom of my shoe was the sticker from the place where I had bought the shoes. And the woman who owned the nail salon pointed out that I still had the sticker on the bottom of my shoe, and I was like, oh, that's okay, like I'll get rid of it later. Like, it wasn't a priority for me in the moment. And she was adamant that, oh my gosh, you need to take that off, because if other people see it, like, they're going to judge you for having that on your shoe. And I remember thinking to myself, I really don't care what other people think of a sticker being on the bottom of my shoes. So you may be one of those folks who it's very important to you that, you know, we follow these rules sometimes that are passed down in our families, like you can't wear this, you have to wear that. So practicing non-judgment of other people's choices in terms of what they wear, how they choose to dress, if they choose to leave the sticker on the bottom of their shoes, and coming from that perspective of allowing that person to be who they are. So there's a mantra that you could use that may help you if you're someone who struggles with this area of judgment. And that is, bless them, change me. And this applies to all of these different exercises that I'm going to be sharing with you, because you are going to see that there's a theme involved in all of these exercises, which involves these different areas of our lives where we're dealing with situations and people that really irritate us, right? And serve to produce judgment within us relative to that person and or that situation. And I have learned that the things that irritate me, the things that cause me to experience judgment, are the very people and situations that are my greatest teachers, that I can learn the most from. So this mantra of bless them, change me, or that person is blameless of their choices in attire, right? That might work for that person, but it doesn't work for you or for me, and that's okay. I can allow that person to be who they choose to be. Number four might be a trigger, so just a warning. For some more than others. Definitely would be for my husband, not so much for myself. But that is picturing a politician that you really dislike and practicing non-judgment toward that politician. Recognizing that they have a reason for their beliefs, for their values, for their belief system. And just because I disagree with that politician doesn't mean that I have to make myself suffer because of it. This speaks really to the metaphor of drinking the poison and expecting the other person to die, right? Not that we would ever want that. Not that we would ever want the other person to die per se. I hope not, at least. But that metaphor of I'm actually drinking the poison and causing my own suffering, and this person is not suffering at all, nor do I really want them to suffer. But it makes me think of when it was like election time and certain members of my family were like losing sleep, right? They were like so distraught and upset that they were losing sleep over something that, aside from their vote, was completely out of their control. So practicing this position of non-judgment toward politicians that we may dislike, some more than others. And number five is imagining someone you dislike. It could be the politician or it could be someone else, but imagining them sitting in a chair in front of you and bringing to mind all of the things that really irritate you about this person and trying to experience that with non-judgment. Again, recognizing that this person is coming from a place of their own experience, right? There is a reason behind everyone's behavior, no matter how egregious that behavior is. If we drill back, it stems from somewhere. So it's based upon their own life experiences, and that they are making decisions based upon the knowledge and the awareness that they have in the moment. It's when our awareness changes and we learn certain things that then we are able to make changes. But it all starts with awareness, and that person is operating from their own level of awareness. So practicing non-judgment towards somebody that you really dislike. Number six is to spend some time chatting with your least favorite person at work. And of course, approaching that exercise with this non-judgment, from this non-judgmental perspective. You're going to chat with them and you're going to observe the mannerisms and the attitudes and the characteristics and all the things that irritate you about this person, and you're going to practice non-judgment. You're going to practice coming from this place of being aware that this person has a certain skill set that comes from, again, how they were raised and their experiences in life, and that they are behaving in a way that is based upon their own knowledge and their own awareness, and that they'll change when their awareness changes, but not until then. So how can you practice being able to have a conversation with this person and coming from a place of non-judgment? Number seven, once again, is one of those areas that may be a bigger trigger for some more than others, and that is to call a family member that you dislike, and having a conversation from a non-judgmental perspective, not judging anything that that person says as right or wrong or good or bad. Good luck with that one. Number 8, this exercise requires you spending some time in the past. And all of these exercises, by the way, if you haven't noticed, are pretty uncomfortable. But it's really important to be able to get comfortable being uncomfortable in order to be able to shift from this place of judgment to more loving kindness and compassion. And so number 8 is, like the rest of the exercises, uncomfortable in that you're going to be spending some time in the past and you're going to be thinking about situations and circumstances where you were in judgment and being critical of others. And then you're also going to spend some time bringing to mind some situations and circumstances where you've made mistakes and you've been very critical and judgmental toward yourself. You're going to relive these scenes step by step. So this is absolutely a visualization. You're going to relive them step by step, but from a non-judgmental perspective. Reminding yourself that everyone chooses the highest good. Everyone makes the best choice available in the given moment. Try to understand how the person's needs and awareness shaped their choices. And try to understand how your own needs and awareness shaped your own choices. Strive for a compassionate view of your own needs and choices. And number 9, this is perhaps one of the most difficult for me. The other ones, not too, some more difficult than others, but definitely this one was a huge part of my healing process, a huge challenge and it still can be a challenge. I'm much better than I used to be, but this is still one that rears its ugly head over and over again, and that is gossip. Practicing not only not engaging in gossip, but probably the harder practice, for me at least, is not engaging in other people gossiping about someone else, especially when it's someone that I don't particularly care for myself. It's so hard when I hear other people gossiping not to just jump in and participate in the gossip, but this is where I want you to practice. I want you to practice when other people are gossiping, not jumping in and participating, maybe even saying something along the lines of, that person really isn't that bad. Maybe that the only thing that you can do, right, is to just not participate. But seeing if maybe you could take that extra added step and say, that person's really not that bad. Because again, what we put out in the universe is going to come back to us. So the more I'm able to put out loving kindness, the more I'm able to put out gratitude, the more that's going to come back to me, which leads me to number 10. Number 10 is an expanded version of, I think it was number 5, maybe it was number 6, where we're sitting the person across from us, right, that we dislike. So this is the same type of exercise in that you are imagining, visualizing that person that you dislike or that you're in judgment about across from you, either sitting in a chair or standing up, and you are going to send that person loving kindness. You are going to send loving kindness directly from your heart to the heart of that other person. And this is something that is very difficult to do when we're in the moment of being angry with someone, but it's also a time that it's the most powerful and will help you. If you force yourself to do it, it is going to help to dissipate that judgment, that anger, that frustration, that resentment, all of those negative emotions that are associated with judgment. And again, the more that we're able to be in gratitude, loving kindness, and see the lessons, see the value of what we can learn from people that we dislike, people that get under our skin, people that behave in ways that we don't agree with, from a perspective of non-judgment. And the more that you can actually go from non-judgment to compassion, that's where the true healing really starts to take place, especially when you are practicing compassion towards yourself, because that's where it all begins. And for you, it might be that you're the most judgmental toward yourself. And I know that with me, there was a time where that was the case. I wasn't really in judgment of others as much as I was in judgment of myself. So being able to go from this place of judging yourself to self-compassion is really powerful healing. So I hope you found this information helpful, and I hope you'll go and practice some of those exercises for non-judgment. I thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you again in the next video. In the meantime, have a very beautiful and a blessed day.